All right, so we got this interesting segment on ESPN's First Take. Which team has more Super Bowl pressure? The Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 13-1, or the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 10-4? Of course, we know these teams play each other this weekend. The Eagles will be at Dallas, and they will probably be without Jalen Hurts. The Eagles right now, they're doing some kind of trickery where they're acting like Hurts might play, but judging by how the line has moved and just what the people around the team are saying, it's looking like Jalen Hurts will be out for that game. Also, they don't really have a big incentive to play Jalen Hurts in this game. You'd rather have him be healthy come playoff time, but it wouldn't surprise me too much if he ends up playing. But it's just something interesting to pay attention to. It's going to be a great game on Saturday either way. I think Gardner Minshew gives you enough at the quarterback position just to compete and keep it interesting. Overall, I do think Dallas was going to win this game, whether it was Hurts out there or Minshew. I don't know who covers with this line being a little bit inflated, sitting at about 5.5 right now. But anyway, I'm going to let the clip play. They're going to talk about which team has more Super Bowl pressure.
Philly fans Philly fans are minding their business, celebrating the season that they're having. Dallas Cowboy fans are disgusting and nauseating the world about what they're going to do, acting like they already done it. You go to the Super Bowl next year. You go to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's coming. I got one of my college buddies, my man Mark Turner. He get on my damn, I love him like a brother, but he get on my damn nerves every week. He calls me. Oh, did you see it? Did you see the Cowboys? Except for when they lose. You see, then he hides for months. Okay, this is what he does. It's typical disgusting Cowboy fan.
Yeah, it's the Dallas Cowboys. That's what Dallas Cowboy fans do. They're the biggest fan base, most popular franchise in all of football, arguably in all of sports, at least American sports. So that's just how it is. Stephen A is acting like he's not a Knicks fan. Knicks fans do the same thing anytime the Knicks are playing well. You got Jeremy Lin balling out for like a week, and then Knicks fans want to act like they're back or something. So it's just what fan bases do. Fans, they just go crazy for their team. They get irrational.
Ones that's talking, they're the ones acting like Roger Staubach is still their quarterback. They're the ones that's watching, that's acting like, you know what, they're the Super Bowl champions when Troy Aikman was throwing the football or Michael Irvin or Emmitt Smith was running out of the backfield. That's who they think they are all the time. So guess what? The pressure's on you because it's rare that it's been legitimate expectations. The illegitimacy of their arguments is what makes them disgusting and nauseating. The fact of the matter is, in this particular season, they're legitimate title contenders. So because of that reality, you got to show up. You got to handle your business. You got to answer the call for a change. You ain't done it in 27 years now. You ain't done it in 27 years.
Same
what
with
you
Yankees,
gonna
right?
do? That's all I'm saying.
Feels like your Yankees.
Go ahead, Green Lantern.
I know you didn't just call me Green Lantern.
That was just saying it's green everywhere. It's green everywhere. It's green everywhere. Go ahead.
Okay.
Of course, Molly isn't going to laugh. She's going to act all serious, give Stephen A the eyes, act like you can't make a joke towards a girl. Typical Molly just being annoying. It's the reason why nobody really watches this show anymore, is just the takes are horrible and Molly's just super annoying.
I agree with you that the answer is the Cowboys. But why are they under so much pressure? Because people like you every single week, writing them off. You just said they're a legitimate contender, and yet at every turn, you use every opportunity to get on your little Instagram and post, how about them Cowboys? Oh, with your little hat and all that.
Videos.
Yeah, you do those videos. Selfie videos. So
with the black hat on there on Sunday ice.
Yeah, you do those. Doing the most, all the time. So extra as that tie you got on every week talking about this.
Now she's taking shots at him because she's still feeling a way about him calling her the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern comment was actually funny. Nothing she's saying is funny. She's just getting upset right now and just going off on him, trying to get even. But to her point about saying that the Dallas Cowboys are under pressure because of people like Stephen A., the Dallas Cowboys are under pressure because they got a quarterback who got the Brinks truck sent in. Dak Prescott is getting paid. Dak Prescott is getting paid. That's the reason why the Dallas Cowboys have pressure on them, because they have a great defense, because they have a run game. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have a left tackle. They have pieces, right? So when you have a quarterback making as much money as Dak Prescott is making, hey, the pressure is going to be on because the pieces are there for an elite quarterback to take this team over the top. The problem is Dak Prescott ain't elite. You guys heard Shady McCoy. Dak is ass. He said Dak is ass. I don't think Dak is ass. When you look at the quarterback play in the NFL right now, you could turn on a game every Sunday and you could see some real mediocre quarterback play. You could see some guys who are ass. You could definitely see that every weekend in the NFL. But Dak is an ass. But Dak, when you compare him to his peers, when you compare him to the guys getting that kind of money, guys that are being named the franchise guy, guys that are getting that label attached to them, that are being looked at as the franchise player, the franchise quarterback of an organization, especially of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, Dak hasn't really done much. Is Dak better than Tony Romo? No, Dak hasn't been better so far in his career than Tony Romo was for the Dallas Cowboys. So, Dak has overall been kind of a disappointment when you consider how much money he's made compared to just how few playoff victories he has. He has, one playoff win so far? So, and this is coming from a guy who I took the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Minnesota Vikings when the Cowboys were favored at Minnesota. I put real money on that game. I look at the Dallas Cowboys and I see a chance for them to actually win the NFC. I could see that. We haven't seen Brock Purdy in a situation where he's down 13-3 on the road. I took the San Francisco 49ers when they had Brock Purdy going against Tampa Bay. That's because they're the better team. I didn't take them because of Brock Purdy. We don't know how the San Francisco 49ers are going to look if they're going to have Jimmy come back. They're saying that Jimmy might be healthy come playoff time. We don't know if Jimmy's going to come back and how he's going to look. We don't know if Brock Purdy can handle it when it comes to the playoffs and when it comes to being down on the road in a playoff game. We don't know what that's going to look like. The Philadelphia Eagles now with this Hurts injury. Also, Hurts hasn't won a playoff game before. There is a road for the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC. I wouldn't be too surprised. I'm going to have to see how the matchups play out, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they won this weak NFC this year. But it isn't because of Dak Prescott. It definitely is not because of Dak Prescott, because this team was winning games with Cooper Rush, and that's kind of the point. The reason why the Dallas Cowboys have more pressure than the Eagles is because the Eagles have a longer runway. Jalen Hurts is on his rookie deal. The Eagles have the Saints pick. The Eagles are going to get a great pick this year, and the Eagles are going to have the money to move around and get pieces and make this roster good for the next few seasons for Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts does seem like the kind of guy that will take a team-friendly deal. If I had to guess, he would take a team-friendly deal and help this team keep winning, because he probably knows, hey, I'm only as good as the pieces around me, and the Eagles have a chance to have one of the best rosters in football for the foreseeable future. The Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, they have a mid-quarterback getting paid like a superstar. So the pressure is on the Cowboys to capitalize this season.
It is nice. It is nice,
But here's the thing. You yourself just said that they're a legitimate contender. So why is it that you always assume that the Cowboys will do their worst in the biggest moments?
I have evidence to support those theories. They continuously have done it throughout the
Exactly. There's evidence against Dak Prescott playing bad when it matters most. Dak, a lot of his biggest stats are in garbage time, where he just racks up the points, racks up the yards when the team is already down 3 scores. That's when Dak plays his best.
years. Even on the rare occasions that they've had legitimacy attached to their expectations, they've still faltered. I haven't been wrong in 27 years. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. I mean, it's an easy answer to that question.
Another thing about Dak that's starting to bother me is, I don't know if it's the injuries or if he's put on some weight or what it is, but Dak doesn't move around anymore. He doesn't move around. Like, this team, I saw them do the read option 1 or 2 times against the Jags. We kind of need to see more of that. Like, Dak is at his best when he's like scrambling out the pocket a little bit, using his legs, you know, some read options. Maybe you're handing it off to Zeke. Maybe it's going to Pollard. Maybe you're tossing it out, or a quick RPO, something. Like, that's when the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to be at their best. If Dak is just a sitting duck in the pocket, just standing there, being a pocket passer, he's not an elite pocket passer. Dak isn't just going to kill you all day long from in the pocket. He's just not that talented of a thrower of the football, in my opinion. I think that Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr throw better balls than Dak Prescott. So I can't have Dak just sitting in the pocket all day thinking that's going to be a recipe to winning games.
The reason they're under so much pressure is because of the star. Because everything is amplified in Dallas.
Yes.
They are America's team. This is people are waiting to see them fall.
Yes.
Someone sitting across from me right now.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Just wait. See, but that's what I'm saying.
It's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You are already predicting disaster before disaster even
Remember
happens.
last year when they were on that roll, and I sat right across from Michael Irvin, and I looked him dead in his face, doggy, and I said, they won't even win a playoff game. And sure enough, they didn't let me down. This is what they do.
Yeah, I mean, last year, my biggest bet of the season, and not to talk too much about the bets, it just helps me kind of reflect on the previous matchups. My biggest bet of last season was taking the Niners on the road. They were plus 3.5 at Dallas. That was a no-brainer. I feel like the whole world had the Niners against the Cowboys in that game. I mean, the Cowboys last year, they were definitely fraudulent come playoff time. The Cowboys this year, though, in a weaker NFC, with Brock Purdy in there for the Niners right now, with Hurts being banged up, with the Minnesota Vikings, and they just can't get a stop. Their defense is just horrendous. Plus, they got Kirk Cousins at quarterback. You never know when he's going to fold up. The NFC, Tampa Bay, they're just not the same. The Commanders, Giants, Seahawks, those teams don't really scare you. The Detroit Lions, they're not real threats. So when you look at the NFC, yeah, the Cowboys are legitimate contenders this season, no doubt about it.
This is what they do, and that's why they under this pressure.
This is every time. Let me tell you, every time I travel on the road, every time I get in an Uber, every time I'm at a stadium, you know what I hear?
What?
Oh, you do a good job keeping Stephen A in check. You do a really good job.
They
I
don't
like
mean
that.
that.
No, but then they also talk about tell him to lay off my
Sounds like a simp.
Cowboys.
I know.
Because he is out of control. He is out of pocket. That's the problem. Because this is a team that is good enough to win a Super Bowl despite the interceptions. Dak leading the league in interceptions since week 10. We know that this team has the roster to do it.
Right.
But every week you complain about.
Are
we gonna let Mad Dog speak?
Yeah, we're gonna let him speak.
I want to hear. He's got a lot of scribbles. I want to see all these notes.
That I never told this. Do you know that a couple of years ago at the airport in Dallas, a 75-year-old black woman shoved me and said, "Stop talking bad about my Cowboys."
Well, sounds like you deserve it.
I believe it. Yo, football fans are crazy. I just retweeted a video on my Twitter, actually, of this lady. She's a Raiders fan. I grew up in the Bay. I'm from Oakland. I grew up watching the Raiders. Raiders got some of the craziest fans. There was this lady. It looked like she was Hispanic. There's a lot of Hispanic Raider fans, and she was yelling in the face of this guy, Patriots fan. He had a Brady jersey on. She was yelling in his face at the Raiders-Patriots game, and he did a good job. It was a young black dude. He did a good job of just keeping his composure and just not even looking her in the face. She was all up in his face, clapping and yelling and screaming. I wrote right above that tweet, I quoted the tweet, I said, "This is why I don't go to football games. It's a bunch of jackasses over there." Like, people take football a little too seriously. They act like football's a religion. They get a little too, especially when you talk about the Eagles and the Cowboys. Everybody knows the Eagles. Philadelphia, they got the craziest fans, craziest people in the world in Philadelphia. I mean, everybody knows that. And Dallas Cowboys, of course, they're going to have some rowdy fans too.
Uh-huh.
Wow, it was like I felt like Jack Cluckman with the Odd Couple.
Yeah. Did you feel?
It's just never been that serious where you're going to put hands on somebody over a damn game. Putting hands on somebody over a damn game that you weren't even participating in. You putting hands on somebody, you don't even got siblings or friends or anybody who plays for the team. You just a fan. Like, ultimately, you just a fan. That's why it's cool betting sports, because it's like, I'm not a fan or emotionally attached to any of these teams. I'm just watching the product and enjoying it. Like, when people get wrapped up into being fans, and bro, you just meat riding, and you gonna put hands and feet on somebody over a damn game. Like, people be tripping at these damn games. That's why I don't go to football games. I could go to a basketball game. I don't go to Warrior games because they were tripping out about getting the jab. The only way you could go to a Warrior game last season was if you got the jab. They were checking at the door and stuff. You guys know how that is. But this season, I might go to a Warrior game. Who knows?
When it punched it off, I couldn't believe
Did you
it.
feel like karma's so real?
I think the Eagles have more pressure.
First
I
of
totally disagree.
all, you didn't even think Jalen Hurts could be the starting quarterback and be a good starting
That's true.
quarterback.
That's
So how is he now? All of a sudden, this team
I
is
jumped
good.
on the bandwagon.
Oh
I'm
my
allowed.
goodness!
I jumped on the bandwagon. The jumping's good. They're
I'm
13
with
to
you,
1.
doggy. I mean, with their record and their season.
Jerry Jones is the guy who puts the pressure on the Cowboys. It's his fault. Radio interviews, he's always talking.
Always
you know,
flying on
Dak played great.
helicopters,
How about
yes.
Jerry laid low? take a little pressure off his team. Jerry puts pressure on his team. How about laying low and taking a little pressure off his team? That's number one.
Yeah, Jerry Jones does put pressure on the team by talking so much. I mean, he's doing radio interviews every week and stuff, so he does put pressure on this team, but he also draws a lot of attention towards this team, and ultimately what he cares about is the value of this team going up, and he does that by keeping them in the news, so it makes sense from a business standpoint. When Russo says that the Eagles have more pressure, that doesn't make sense to me because Jalen Hurts is probably going to be out for this game. If Jalen Hurts is out, or even if Jalen Hurts plays but he's banged up, you're playing with house money because you already beat the Cowboys earlier this year, and I know Dak didn't play in that game, but you beat the Cowboys earlier this year, and now Hurts is banged up or out. So you're playing with house money. You can go all out and you could try to beat the Cowboys, and if you fall short, you could just say, well, you have an excuse lined up right then and there. So I can't say that the Eagles have more pressure. The Eagles have proved themselves this season to be a well-functioning machine on both ends of the field. The Cowboys, as great as their defense has been, their defense has had some flaws and has had some hiccups during the season. And now you got Dak just throwing interceptions, throwing one or two every single game. It's ridiculous.
Number two, the NFC's a mess. Brock Purdy's a quarterback in San Francisco. I mean, Minnesota.
He's been a very good quarterback.
Who is, I'm sorry?
He's been a very good quarterback this far.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see to know if Brock Purdy's a good quarterback or not. He's been good so far with what Shanahan has asked him to do, but when you look at that Niners-Seahawks game, when they did those fake screens and then Kittle was open right up the middle, like anybody could have made that throw. Are we really going to start saying Brock Purdy's the truth because he made that play? Like so far, it's been really just Shanahan putting on a clinic ever since Brock Purdy got there, but we'll see. Eventually, he will be on the road, and he'll be down at least one score, and he'll have to do something, create on his own. So I'm very interested to see how that works, and it would be crazy if he's just if Shanahan's dialing it up and Purdy's just hitting guys in stride. If he's doing that, then that Niner team's going to win the Super Bowl if he's doing that, to be quite honest with you, because that defense is amazing.
Purdy, I got to see more on the road. He played well in Seattle, but
Agreed.
Minnesota's got Cousins. The whole world hates him. They don't have home field. They're gonna have to play 3 road games. It is there for the taking for the Eagles. They have a bye. They're gonna be 14-3, 15-2, 16-1 in that area. They're gonna have to win 2 home games in a tough city with an offense that's been superb. They got a well-balanced team. They're gonna be a huge favorite to get out of the NFC. Not maybe to beat Buffalo or Kansas City or Cincinnati, but to get out of the NFC, if you want to bet somebody else besides the Eagles, if you want to do this right, if you want to bet the Eagles besides anybody else, and they don't make it, you're going to lose a fortune. They are the big, huge. They're going to be the home field with a bye, with a 15-2 or whatever their record's going to be. They are going to be far and away the team to beat in the NFC.
Well, you know, the Eagles will most likely be hosting throughout the NFC playoffs. And Philadelphia is a real home field advantage. Some of these teams don't have a home field advantage when they play in their stadium. The only advantage that they have is that they didn't have to travel opposed to the road team. But when you play in Philadelphia, I mean, that crowd is so rowdy. Like I said earlier, Philadelphia fans, they're crazy. So that is going to be a nice edge that the Eagles do have on the opposition. But I'm not quite sure that the Eagles are going to be huge favorites to make it out of the NFC. Like, if the Niners, I don't know, they're going to host a playoff game. They're probably going to be like, what, the 3 seed? If the Niners host the Commanders or something like that in the first round, or host the Lions in the first round, they're going to take care of them. They go second round to Minnesota and face the Vikings. Who says that the Niners can't beat the Vikings? I mean, we're going to have to wait and see with Purdy, but who says the Niners can't beat the Vikings, especially if the Vikings defense can't stop the run? And if the Niners beat the Vikings and go on to play Philadelphia in Philly, assuming that the Eagles beat the Cowboys in the second round, because the Cowboys will most likely be the 5th seed, if the Niners were to go into Philadelphia, how many points are we expecting the Eagles to be favored by? I mean, they're not going to be favored by more than 3 points. You know, they're definitely not going to be favored by more than 3 points. My guess would be that the Eagles are probably -2 at home hosting the Niners. And with sharp action coming on the Niners, you're probably going to get Eagles -1.5 or something at home against the Niners, like -1.5, -2 with Purdy there, assuming it's Purdy, you know. So It's not like the Eagles are just these huge favorites to come out the NFC. The NFC is wide open. Really, the whole NFL is wide open because in the AFC, Kansas City, Buffalo, the Bengals are in stride right now. There's a lot going on. And then you have the Chargers as like a sleeper team with Justin Herbert, my favorite player in the NFL right now, Justin Herbert. So the NFL is just wide open this season. A lot of parity.
That
I
brings
agree
pressure.
with you.
That brings pressure. Dallas doesn't have that kind of pressure.
Jalen Hurts isn't even playing on Christmas Eve, and they're 5.5-point favorites.
I must say, in the midst of his diatribe, you interrupted him.
No, the Eagles are 5.5-point underdogs. They're not 5.5 favorites, Molly. The Cowboys are 5.5 favorites.
About 3 times.
All right.
I mean, you're a bit persnickety this morning. I mean,
you know what? You got me fired up. You
persnickety?
got me fired up.
persnickety means fussy. Always,
Yeah, my goodness.
worried about the small
Oh,
details.
okay. They corrected me. Dallas is favored.
Okay, yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's
It's fine,
you
okay.
usually leave that up to Molly.
Okay.
Molly usually does that. I mean, she does
I'm
that
sorry,
every day.
Because
Today,
I
you
love
just took
dogs.
over.
Today you just got under my skin. Just the sight of you. Maybe I just don't like that.
All right, well, she's just in her feelings, but which team has more Super Bowl pressure? It's going to have to be the Dallas Cowboys because they're paying Dak Prescott a fortune right now, and because the Eagles are going to have more years than just this one. The Eagles are going to be good next season with that Saints pick, like I said earlier, and the Eagles are going to have the opportunity to add some pieces with the cap. So the Eagles are definitely the team that has a longer runway. So the Dallas Cowboys definitely have more pressure on them this season. And the Cowboys have immense pressure on them this week after Micah Parsons was talking so much about Jalen Hurts as just a system player. Well, now you're going to have to beat the system. Whether Hurts plays or not, the Cowboys better win this game. Because if you lose to the Eagles twice this season, that's not going to be a good feeling come playoff time. You're going to have to go to Philadelphia, and that team is going to be super confident going up against you. So, the Cowboys do have more pressure on them. I can't wait to watch the game. Whether Hurts plays or not, it's going to be a fun one this Saturday. Definitely the game of the week. But that's it on that. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.